In this video, I'm going to talk about hip flexors and also to determine whether you have a tight hip flexors or a weak hip flexors. Hi and welcome back to Fitness on Wheels. Hip flexors is a group of muscles and their main action is to flex the hip joint. That means to bring the knee closer to the chest. In this video, we are going to determine whether we have a tight hip flexors or a weak hip flexors. So in this case, we will look into the anatomy of the two muscles, which is the most dominant among the hip flexors, so that we will be able to have a better understanding of it. And we will also look into the body movement of the lower limb, what is flexion and what is extension, so that again we will have a better understanding of how this muscle works. As I said, we include few tests in this video so that we will know if we have a tight hip flexors, which is a very common due to a prolonged sitting. So that if we have a tight hip muscles, we will stretch it. And if we have a weak hip flexors, so that we will know how to strengthen it. Please stick till the end of this video and we will go through this test so that we will be able to know whether we need to stretch our hip flexors or do we need to strengthen it. So we'll see you in a bit. Here is the body movement of the lower limb. Bringing the knee forward is flexion and bringing the knee backward is extension. But today we are going to talk about hip flexion. As you can see here, the muscle which is highlighted in red is a very powerful hip flexor and it is a very big muscle. And as you can see, this muscle originates from the lower spine. So if this muscle is tight, we will be having problem like back pain problem and many more. Here is another muscle which is highlighted in red. Is another hip flexor muscle. So these two muscles, they combine together and they insert into the thigh bone. So these two act as a powerful hip flexors. So when these two muscles contract, they bring the knee closer to the chest. That means hip flexion. Let's begin with test number 1 to check for tight hip flexors. In this test, you are to sit at the edge of the table and lie down and pull the opposite knee towards the chest. If the testing leg does not remain on the table, that means tight hip flexors. Repeat the same procedure, and if the testing leg does not remain on the table and a little bit extended at the knee joint, that means tight rectus femoris as well. And repeat the same procedure, and if the testing leg remain on the table, that means the length of the hip flexors is normal. Let's begin with test number 2, strength test. In this test, you are to lift the testing leg above the hip joint and just do a quick release and see whether you can maintain this position without letting the leg drop. And try to hold this position for 35 to 40 seconds. If you can maintain this position for 35 to 40 seconds, that means you have an adequate hip flexor strength. There you have it, guys. That was the video on hip flexors. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you are new to this channel, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any videos from this channel. So, just to let you know, we really appreciate your support. So, till then, we will see you in the next video. Bye.